Hi everyone, Dr. Gillespie here, and we are ready for week 2. So for week 2, to get started, let's go ahead and flip over into Blackboard and I will show you how to navigate through and what is coming up due for this week. So in week 2, to get started, when you log into Blackboard and you click on our class, just come over to the left and click on week 2. And the folder for week 2 explains. So we're going to start researching the educational theorists that are going to be mentioned in chapter 2 of Wolfert and Perry. These theorists are going to be brought up throughout the entire textbook, and we will be using them to justify what we are seeing in our virtual field experiences and for our developmentally appropriate practice presentation project that we do at the end of the semester. So each of our classmates will become an expert on one of the theorists and present to the class about his or her assigned theorist. So to get started, let's see how this is going to be done by clicking on the folder. Okay, so week 2 directions and guidelines is where you always start. So clicking on that, it's going to download and we can open it up and it's going to explain to us what we're going to be doing for the week. So like I said, this week we're going to be researching about an educational theorist, and all of us are going to become a theorist expert. So below is the list of the theorists that you are assigned. So find your name and find your theorist. And these are the ones that we are going to do. Any of the ones that have my name are already in the discussion board, and I will show you that in just a minute. So for this week, you are already doing step number 1. You're viewing the video for week number 2. So the first thing you're going to do before you start researching about your educational theorists is you're going to go into the Who Am I personal development project and respond to the discussion board post. So to do that, all you have to do is click on the discussion board post and hit respond, which I will show you in just a moment. So you are going to view and respond to all peers' personal development projects in the discussion board. You're going to read Wolfert and Perry's chapter 2, which is pages 28 to 71, and you're going to view the chapter 2 Theory and Research in Child Development PowerPoint. Now, you are not required to take the chapter 2 quiz until week 3 because you are going to have to use the information that you get from your peers' educational theorist presentations to complete the quiz. However, you want to read chapter 2 because chapter 2 is going to give you information about your theorists before we go in deeper about them. So go ahead and read chapter 2, view the PowerPoint, but don't take your chapter 2 quiz until week 3. Your major assignment for this week is going to be your educational theorist presentation. So you are to review the guidelines and rubrics for the educational presentation, and you're to research and create a PowerPoint about your assigned theorist using the guidelines for the assignment. You're going to upload that PowerPoint to the assignment folder, and then you're going to post it to the discussion board. So the only assignments that you have due for this week is the Who Am I Personal Development Board discussion board post peer responses, so respond to all peers in the class, your educational theorist presentation that you post in the folder, and then your educational theorist presentation discussion board post. So for next week, you will be going further into the educational theorists that were mentioned in chapter 2. So you're going to be viewing all peers' presentations that are in the discussion board. And again, here is the chart that explains who is assigned to what theorist. So going back over into Blackboard, we just got done reviewing the directions and guidelines for week 2. So what you have to do is, going in order, you are to do your Who Am I personal development project discussion board peer responses. So to do that, just click on your folder and it's going to take you over into the discussion board. So it describes to you again what it is that you are supposed to do for this project. So after completing, you've already posted it into the discussion board, and now you just have to respond to all peers, giving them constructive, welcoming, and affirming feedback. If you need information on how to respond in discussion boards, there's some links here for that. But looking at the rubric for just a second, here's how you get all of your points for the discussion board post. So first off, you post to the discussion board, which all of you should have done, as that was an assignment for week 1. So you post it in the discussion board, so you get 5 points automatically for putting it there. Now, your responses to peers. Make sure that you have appropriate comments. They're thoughtful, they're reflective, and respectful. You post topics that are related to the discussion board, so whatever they wrote in their Who Am I personal development project, make sure that it relates to what it is that they said. And then you're aware of what the community needs. You attempt to motivate the group and promote discussion. So asking questions, making connections with people. And then also make sure that you respond back to peers when they ask questions or make comments. So just because you respond one time doesn't mean that you're done. If somebody asks you a question, make sure that you answer their question. Or if they make a comment that needs a rebuttal or it needs further explanation, make sure that you go in and you continue the dialogue amongst each other. And then also make sure that you check your grammar and your mechanics and your spelling, and then make sure that you respond to all peers discussion board posts. If you don't do that, it automatically goes into the lower category. So make sure that you respond to everybody so you get your full 30 points. So to respond to peers, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is click on the link and then click on whoever it is that you need to respond to. All you have to do here is hit reply, type your message, and then hit submit. It's as easy as that. So going back into week 2, the other thing you have to do is chapter 2. So make sure that you read your chapter 2, Theory and Research in Child Development, because your project, most of the theorists that we're going to be covering in class come from chapter 2. And they're very vague in the chapter, but we need to know a lot more about them as we go through the course. So make sure that you go in and you read the chapter and that you view the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is right here for you to view. And then the last thing, you are to do your educational theorist presentation and discussion board. So the educational theorist presentation is a major assignment for this class. It is worth a lot of points. So make sure that you take your time and that you view the guidelines and the directions for this project. Okay, so like I was saying, there are major theorists that we're going to be covering throughout this class. So to aid us, we're going to become theorist experts. So you're going to create a PowerPoint about one of the educational or behavioral theorists that we will be covering in this class. So here are the prompts that you need to have included in your PowerPoint. So 1, you need a biography of the theorist. It's really interesting to see where these theorists came from and how their environment and their experiences have influenced their work. A lot of these theorists, their experiences have shaped what they do. So the biography is very important to understand that. So provide a biography of the theorist, describe the theorist's theoretical work and theories, and address each of the bullets under the theorist's name. So all of you have a specific theorist that you were assigned to do. So find his name and then find the bullets. So if there's a certain key term, make sure that you have that and you explain it really well in your presentation, because these are certain things that we need to know about these theorists. And everybody has bullets under their theorist's name. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, some of them only have 3 and some of them have 6 and 7. Well, a lot of these terms go together. So if you have a theorist that has 7 bullets, it doesn't mean that you have more work. It just means that those are just important terms that we need to know. So the third part, or your third prompt, you need to provide examples and or graphics to explain the theorist's theoretical work or theories. So this could be a video, this could be a picture, it could be a model of their theory. Just make sure that you have graphics that explain what it is that you're talking to us about. You can go into Google and you can Google image, you can go into the websites and you can find tons of models that explain these theorists' theoretical work. Now, some of these theorists may only have one model, whereas some of them have more than one. So there isn't a number, as you'll see in the rubric, of how many examples or graphics you have to have. It's just you have an example or graphic to help explain what it is that you're talking about. Then also make sure you describe the importance of the theorist's theoretical work or theories. You describe the key issues, problems, and debates about the theorist's theoretical work or theories. You provide and describe key terms, vocabulary, concepts used or developed by the theorist's theoretical work or theories. You describe how the theorist's theoretical work and theories is applicable to the school environment. You list and describe the major teaching and learning or behavioral strategies that this theorist would support. And then you provide references in APA format of the sources you used. So scrolling down just a little bit further, those are all the bullets that you are supposed to have for your theorist. You're going to notice first that this project is worth 150 points. So make sure that you address each of the prompts in the directions. So we only care about getting into the 8 and 10 category, the exceptional category. So clear detail. It was detailed. It was accurate, the examples. And like I told you, remember the graphics? It doesn't have a number of how many graphics or videos or examples that you use. It's just, is it accurate, visible, and detailed? Does it show the theorist's theory? Make sure that you're clear and detailed. And there's a category for each of those prompts. So make sure that you address all of those. Now, when you get to the strategy section, this is very important. Make sure that you provide 2 or more appropriate strategies for the theorist. And make sure that you can explain why the theorist would support these 2 or more strategies. So make sure that you have 2 strategies so you get into this category. If you only have 1, it's unsatisfactory. And if you have none or they're not correct, you get in the 0 and 4 category. Make sure that you also, your references, you have in-text citations for each of your slides. And I will show you what an in-text citation is when I show you the examples. Also make sure that you check for your APA formatting so that you know how to set up your citations. APA is different than MLA. So make sure that you're using the Purdue APA site, which I will show you right now. It is on your syllabus as well, but if you go to Google and you type in Purdue APA, it will pop up and it will show you exactly how to set up your citations. So you can look right here, in-text citations, the basics. It shows you how they are set up. So depending on how you set it up, if you talk about the author and then put the date and then quote them, make sure that if you're quoting that you also use page numbers. You'll also notice that it's the author's last name, no first name or initials. If you just put the citation at the end, shows you how to do that. And your quotations, and it also shows you how to summarize and paraphrase. Also make sure that you're looking at your reference list as well. So it will show you how to set up your reference list about the authors. And a lot of you are probably going to use electronic sources, so make sure that you look here. One of the major differences between APA and MLA is that there's no retrieved on date. You're going to notice that it says retrieved from and then the website. So make sure that you're following these guidelines for setting up your resources. So making sure that you're paying attention to your APA. And then grammar and mechanics is also a part here, so making sure that you're reading and proofreading what you write. Then your presentation, you present all 9 parts of your prompt, so make sure that you address all of those 9 things. The information in the presentation is accurate. References and sources were provided. And when you put it in the discussion board, If anybody asks you questions, you will get points from that. So make sure that you respond to those questions in week 3 when it is time for us to respond to peers. So make sure that you answer those questions. And then the students, make sure that you upload your presentation to Blackboard as well. And it's probably going to be me more asking you questions. So if I ask you a question, make sure that you respond. So going back into Blackboard, you need to create your presentation. After you get done creating your presentation, you need to go into the discussion board and post your PowerPoint. Now you're going to notice that I already have all of mine in Blackboard. So you can use all of these as an example. But on your guideline, it said that Bandura was your example. So all you have to do is click on it and then click on the file and it will upload. And it will take a little bit because there's graphics and pictures in there. So all you have to do is upload it, or not upload it, but download it, and you will see the PowerPoint. Okay. So Alfred Bandura and his social learning theory. As you go through, you'll see the bio, his experiences, his research focuses, and you'll notice this is the way your in-text citations should be at the bottom. They should be in parentheses. This one, for example, this one didn't have an author. So if there's not an author, you can use the website and title. So this was Learning Theories and the date. McLeod is obviously the author. And you keep going. So explaining his social learning theory. Here's an example of a graphic. Another graphic to explain his theory. Now, this is a link to a video, so you could click on that and watch it when it's time for you to go in and review those. Explaining the issues, problems, and debates with the theory. His influence on teaching and learning. And the strategies. So I had 3 strategies. Remember, you need to have at least 2 or more strategies to get in the exceptional category. And then my references. Use my references as a guideline to help you with setting up yours. Remember, there is no retrieved on date. That's the #1 mistake that people make when they're trying to do APA. MLA does, APA does not. Okay. So, for this week, going back into week 2, the only things you are to do for week 2 is to respond to your peers, read chapter 2 and review the PowerPoint, create your educational theorist presentation, and upload it to the discussion board. The chapter 2 quiz will be in week 3. You will have to review your educational theorist presentation from all your peers before you can take that quiz. If you have any questions from here on, let me know.